Hey everyone, it's Tom here, and today I'm very excited to bring to you my review for the entire Walking Dead comic series. You've probably heard of The Walking Dead, and so we're going to get into the comic book that inspired the TV show, and the other TV show, and the other TV show, and the movie coming out, I think, and the video game, and the other video game, and that other video game. We're going to talk about the comic book series that started it all. First and foremost, I want to just address this is going to be completely spoiler free. So whether you've never heard of The Walking Dead, whether you're a fan of the TV show, whether you are curious about the comic book or you're somewhere in the middle of the comic book, it doesn't matter where you are, you're in safe hands and nothing is going to be spoiled for you in this video. So I wanted to get that out of the way. I've got my complete set behind me here, except for a few volumes that I've got right here. And I've gone through and marked certain pages and panels that I want to show you to show off the artwork, but those have been selected keeping in mind that there are people watching who don't want anything spoiled. So you will see little snippets of the artwork from various points in the story, but you're not going to have anything spoiled for you. Okay? So this comic book was started in 2003. The writer was Robert Kirkman, and the artist for the first 6 issues was Tony Moore. He continued to do the cover art for some time, but after the 6th issue, Charlie Adlard took over as the artist, and so that's kind of our team. Of course, there's a lot more people that were involved with producing this comic book series, but those are just a select few of the people behind it. So unless you've been living under a rock, The Walking Dead is a zombie story. So we've got a couple of I'm going to show you the first and last volumes right here. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. I love it. Okay, so this was published on like an issue by issue basis, but they also came out in a few different formats. I've got them in volumes. So if you're buying them in volumes like this, then there were 32 volumes. I believe that in each volume there are about 6 issues. It ran for just under 200 issues in total. And the last volume is kind of like double length. And so that's the format that I have it in. They also sell them in compendiums. That's a hard word for me to say. But I think that there are 4 compendiums, which are obviously bigger. But it's all the same thing, whether you're buying them issue by issue, volume by volume, or that C word that I'm not going to try to say again. So it's a zombie story, and we follow a man named Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes was a police officer in Kentucky, and he was shot in the line of duty. And then he wakes up, and he finds himself in the throes of a zombie apocalypse. And so the story kind of follows Rick as he joins a group of survivors and kind of becomes a leader, and we just kind of follow his story throughout the series. And so that's kind of what it's about. Let's look at some of the artwork. So this was originally produced in black and white. And I just actually found out that a couple months ago, in October 2020, they began to re-release these in full color. I'm not really interested in getting them in full color. I think that the black and white actually works really well. This story is very violent, it's very gory, it's very graphic. And I actually think that by doing it in black and white, I think it prevents it from kind of being overkill, you know? But let's just check out some of the artwork in the first volume. So black and white, there are a lot of gray tones, which I love. I mean, I just think that it's really cool artwork. I was surprised to find online that some people think the artwork is bad, and I just don't really get that. I think it's awesome. While we go through some of this artwork, I wanted to talk a little bit about the writing and the story. Just kind of the quality of the writing and the characters. This is a story that takes place over several years. there is a rotating roster of characters that we see come and go. They enter the story for different reasons. They exit the story for different reasons. Some characters leave and come back into the story at different points. And I just really like how we get to spend so much time with these characters. At the beginning of the first volume, Robert Kirkman, again, the author, he talks about how one of his pet peeves regarding the zombie story genre is that they always seem so short, the stories, and it seems like just as characters start to figure out how to survive in this world, the story ends. And he wanted to make The Walking Dead, and he wanted it to go on for a really long time because he thinks that the most interesting thing is seeing how these people evolve and adapt and thrive in a zombie apocalypse. And so he definitely achieved that. It's a ton of fun, and by being able to spend this much time with characters, you really feel connected to them. When a character dies, you feel that. And when a character triumphs, you feel that. When a character finds a little piece of happiness in this bleak world, you celebrate that with them. And when a character is going through something difficult, or when they're in pain, or when they lose someone close to them, you feel all of those things so deeply. And that's one of my kind of gripes with the TV show, is that some of it is the fault of the TV show, and some of it is the fault of just the medium of television, and especially American network television. A lot of the characters have to be watered down, and a lot of the plot points have to be watered down in the TV show. And when people say to me that they're a fan of the TV show and they love how grim it is and how brutal it is, I always recommend them to read the comic book, because you're gonna get way more. It's awesome. One beef that I've got with the TV show as well, here's some more artwork, is that they change character personalities and things that happen to characters, and they really have no good reason for it. Their reasoning, my understanding, is that they want to make changes to the source material so that fans of the source material can enjoy the TV show as well. But I always say, if you're going to tell a story, tell the story. There's a reason why The Walking Dead became popular enough for a TV show to be made in the first place. And that's because enough people connected with the story and enough people connected with the characters. So I understand that it's a different medium and things will have to be changed around, but making changes just for the sake of making changes makes for a weaker story. And I just read the comic. Okay, if you like the TV show, you're gonna love the comic. I promise you. Sorry, I had to cut that off. I think that I gave a little spoiler in this panel, so I'm gonna edit that out, and just wanted to show you that cool picture. Sorry. But as I was saying, if you like the TV show, read the comic. I promise you, you're gonna like it. My introduction to The Walking Dead was actually through the TV show, and I really liked the TV show for the first couple seasons. And then at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start reading the comic book because I like comic books. I started reading the comic book, and I never looked back. Never looked back. I mean, I guess I looked back a little bit. I mean, I've checked in on the TV show from time to time, and I'm not caught up on the TV show. I'm a couple seasons behind, but it just the world is so much more, diverse and detailed and immersive. So you need to check this out. I'm telling you. What else do I have written down here to talk about? That's pretty much it, except for I wanted to talk about the tone of the comic book. It is grim, right? It is a very dark world that these characters find themselves in. There are horrible people in this world, but one of the things, going back to the characters, is that I love seeing these characters fight for not only their survival, but their humanity. And we see these characters evolve. And it's really cool to kind of put yourself in their shoes and say, well, if this happened to me, what would I do? Or how would that make me feel? Or, there are times in this story where I disagree with Rick, or Rick makes a decision and I go, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Please don't do that. And then I turn the page because I have to see what's going to happen next. It's just so, relatable. But one thing that I really love is that although it's a sad story overall, there is always a thread of optimism. I can't explain it. You just have to experience it. But there is so much optimism. Rick Grimes is an optimistic character. He really is. There's a lot that happens to him. He goes through a lot of horrible stuff. And so do other characters in the story. But I want to share a quote with you. And of course, this isn't going to ruin anything again. And I'm not going to tell you who says this. And I'm not going to tell you what the circumstances are. But here's a quote in the last volume that I think really sums up the feeling and the tone of The Walking Dead. Here it is. I think of this world as a gift, even after all the pain it's caused me. This is a story about determination. This is a story about working for something that you want. This is a story about making changes to your life to improve your circumstances. This wouldn't be a fun story if it was filled with characters that just complain all the time and say, what's the point? And so the fact that it went for 32 volumes, the fact that it ran for how many years? 16 years or so? There's a lot of content, and it's kept its following, and that's because at the heart of it, it is a story about optimism. I'm going to cover that so you don't get spoiled. So yeah, just some of the artwork there so you guys can see. I really would love to do like a spoiler-filled review for anybody who has read this or who doesn't care about spoilers, but I implore you to read this. If you're at all interested in the TV show, at all interested in comics or zombies, anything like that, like, you're gonna love it. And there are so many things that I can't really go into without spoiling anything, but like, some of these characters have so much depth to them, and so many characters. This is a master class in introducing characters, and I'm thinking of one character specifically that you really just hate. Like you're introduced to characters and you hate them. And you think, God, they're just like evil incarnate. This is a terrible person. And then throughout the course of the story, those layers get peeled back a little bit, and you start to understand this character's thought process. And it makes you think, like, if this were to happen, what kind of person would I be in this world? And, the extension of that is, what kind of person am I in this world? And, I love it. So the ending is super emotional, but so rewarding, and it gives you such a great payoff. And it's so positive and optimistic and uplifting. So please, check this out. I wish that I could just hand you all of these and you can just start reading them, but I don't think I can do that through the internet, and I don't trust you to return them on time and in the great condition that I've kept them in. So I'm going to hang on to these, but you can find these online easily. The volumes, they stack up because there are a lot of them. I don't know what the compendiums go for. Hey, I said it. But, they don't cost that much money, volume by volume, and it's worth it. Check it out. That's my review of The Walking Dead comic. One of the greatest stories I think we've got in the comic book medium. So thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please don't spoil things in the comments, okay? don't be a dick. Like, I think that everybody deserves to read a story and watch it unfold. So don't do that. If you made it to the end of this video, then tell me who your favorite character is and why, and no spoilers. So thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you guys later.